Hey y'all, it's me Cody from Codi Knits podcast. Um, this is a podcast about knitting and crochet and yarn and all that wonderful fun stuff. Um, so yeah, this is episode 7 of Codi Knits podcast. I am Cody. If you haven't figured that out. Um, let's see, a little bit about me. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Well, that's where I live. I'm from somewhere else in Georgia that you probably won't know. um, most people in Georgia don't know about it either. That's okay. Um, and I'm a nurse. I work with cancer patients. I'm in school to be a nurse practitioner, a family nurse practitioner, and I graduate in December. Yay! Oh, um, so yeah, you can find me here on YouTube at Codi Knits podcast, CodiKnits, knits, and I am Codi Knits on Ravelry as well, CODI. And there is a group for the podcast now, Codi Knits podcast, and I believe it's 2 because somehow it made 2 um, groups for my podcast, and it was confusing a lot of people. So if you type in Codi Knits podcast, the one that titled "Please Delete," I guess if that pops up, then don't join that one. Join the other one. I'll put a link in the description box too. And then you can find me on Instagram as well. I am nurse_Cody on Instagram. Oh, Diamond's sitting in my lap. This is Diamond, and I just elbowed her in the head bag. So this is my baby girl. Little Diamond, say hey. You want to say hey? Hey, Diamond. Say hello. I love this little girl so much. Sometimes I squeeze her and she makes a little noise. So I'm like, oh, I squeezed her too hard. But I just love her so much. She's just so cuddly. Anyway. So, sorry this podcast is a little later than usual. I usually try to get one out on Monday. And I was just so busy. I just haven't had time. I'm actually thinking, I have been doing them every week, but I think I'm going to start doing them every 2 weeks, just because school and everything. But we'll see. I'll try it. I was thinking maybe I'll do, a little bit longer videos where I go through everything, and then if I have other things, like I do a little shorter videos. Like recently I uploaded a video called How I Knit, and it just was showing how I knit. And that didn't take long to do at all. So, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Because, those don't take as long to edit and things like that. But, so what's been going on with me? Like I said, I'm in school, and this past Monday, which was yesterday, I had, a test. So basically the whole last week I was spending, so 2 weeks ago, let me start there. I was in New Orleans for the week, and that put me so far behind in schoolwork. And then I had a quiz the day I came back, or the next day, and I didn't remember that I had a quiz, and I definitely didn't study enough to do well on it. Luckily, it was just a quiz. And it seems to be the consensus that everyone did kind of poorly on it. Since then, obviously, I've reviewed the material and I feel more prepared. But for the quiz, I didn't have time. And coming back from New Orleans, I was exhausted, and I had so much fun, but I was exhausted, and I just didn't have time to put into studying for it. So it wasn't good timing on um, as far as scheduling. For our classes, they wanted us to go to the conference. I was there for a American Association of Nurse Practitioners National Conference, and so they wanted us to go there. And then they scheduled a quiz the next day we got back. So that probably wasn't the best idea, but whatever. But then, so last week I was spending catching up on lectures, and because they record them online, I try to watch them live as well, but they have them on Mondays. It's like our class. We're basically in class from 9 until um, noon, and then from 1 to 4:30, and that's a long day. And so it's live over the computer. So most of the time I'm here, but sometimes it's like on campus, but not very often. But sometimes it is. But I have a hard time just sitting um, that long. So a lot of times I either have, I try to take notes and stuff too, but I either have to just watch for half the day and then go do something else and watch the afternoon lecture later or something like that. Excuse me, I did go. And so I had a couple of things I needed to catch up on. I also have a lot of work to do for when I go to clinical. I have a lot of, paperwork to do for that. And so I had a lot, and then studying so I could do well on the test. Um, so anyway, I had all that going on, and then I had clinical today, and I have clinical tomorrow and Friday. So it's just a busy schedule, whatever. Not complaining. I'm very blessed that I have the opportunity to go back to school. Um, so yeah. Otherwise, I mean, I'm doing pretty well. I did have some blood work drawn today. I've been having a lot of tummy issues. Like my stomach just constantly hurts. No matter what. Don't really know why. It's been happening for 5 or 6 years, really. Um, but here lately, it's been pretty constant. And so the doctor that I do my clinical with, was talking to him, and he drew some blood and sent it today. So we're gonna see if I have something going on in my tummy, or if I'm allergic. We did a lab to see if I'm allergic to gluten, which I really, really hope I'm not allergic to gluten, because that would be really hard for me to change my diet to a completely gluten free. But I will say, if it is, and if that will make my stomach not hurt constantly, then I would do it, because my stomach literally hurts all the time. Sometimes worse than others. But it makes it hard. I get really tired a lot. I just, it's kind of draining when you hurt all the time. Yeah. It's just kind of like an achy hurt. Sometimes it gets pretty crampy sometimes, but I don't know. So I started taking probiotics last week to see if that'll help and things like that. But anyway, um, yeah. So you're here to hear about crochet and knitting, especially knitting. It's funny because people are so oh, you're falling. People are so Some people are like, if you talk to people who crochet, they're like, knitting is the dark side. And if you talk to people who are knitting, they say crochet is the dark side. And I don't think either one of them is a dark side. And I think they're both lovely. And I enjoy both. And, I learned to crochet first. It was easier for me to just have to deal with one hook and wraps and pulling through. It just was easier for me. And then I learned how to knit. Not actually wasn't that too long ago, which is why I was surprised when the ladies, if you watched my last episode, I was talking about how the ladies said that I am an advanced knitter, and I don't feel like I'm an advanced knitter yet. I mean, I can read a pattern. I can, and figure it out, but like, I don't know. I couldn't like sit down and I still have a long way to go. I have a lot to learn too. And, but I want to always be like that. I want to always have something else I can learn because I don't want it to get boring, for me. Um, so anyway, I do have a couple of finished objects, surprisingly. But one of them is I finished my bakery bear. Here he is. Last time I was saying how Kay told me, Kay Jones, she told me I needed to put the eyes on. So I did his eyes and his nose. But then I made his, little sweater. And here's his little pants. And these were really fun to make. And he sits over here next to my computer, and keeps me company. And I just love him. I have people asking me to make them. A lot of people want some, so I'll probably start doing another one. People told me they want, they want a bakery bear. So I'll probably make another one, a cast on another one, at some point. Anyway, I just love them. If you haven't made one, you should. Because if I can make it, y'all can. And even I'm horrible at sewing and seaming and that kind of stuff, which you can probably tell. But if I can get it to stay together, and its head's a little wobbly, but it's on there. It's not going anywhere unless I cut it. If I can do it, you can do it. Because most of you guys are a lot better than I am. Especially you sewers and stuff. So that was and actually that was the only knitting that I finished, I think. And then I crocheted two things because, like I said, sometimes when I'm watching lectures and stuff, I crochet because it just gives me something to do. Because it's hard for me to sit here for, all day like that and just listen to someone talk. I do try to take notes and things like that, but it's really hard for me to just sit and do nothing. So, this looks like a hat I did last time, and it's basically the same except I did this one in half double crochet, and the one I did last time was double crochet, all double crochet. So, anyway, yeah. I don't know if that's the inside. I'm a little confused. Is this the right side? Or is this the right side? I can't tell. I guess it doesn't really matter. But anyway, just a beanie. I'll put it on for you. These are the hats. I make the hats to give to my patients. So these are just quick. This was a red heart yarn. I think it was bonbon prints or something like that. But I made a couple, and this is all I have left out of it. But yeah, I mean, they're just quick and mindless. It's mindless crochet for me. So, it's something I can, And the thing I like about crocheting while I'm doing, like, if I'm listening to a lecture, I'm like, oh, I need to write that down. It's like I don't have to worry about dropping a stitch or something, because or missing something, because if I do, it's easier for me to go back a few stitches and get back, and I feel like in knitting, it's a whole lot more difficult to fix your mistakes. I'm getting better at it, but it's harder for me. And so yeah, so that's why I like to do that. And then I made this pattern. It's a hat, another beanie hat. And it comes from the One Skein Wonders crochet book. Crochet One Skein Wonders. And this took more than one skein. Let me see if I can. So the yarn I used was Vanna's Choice Lion brand. And let's see, what's the color called? Denim Mist is the color. So I've been pulling, you can't really tell because I've been pulling from the center, but this is pretty, flattened. It used I think at least half. So this hat used 1.5 balls, and each of these balls were, 100 grams? I'm sorry. 145 yards. And it's 100% acrylic, but this is super soft for acrylic. To me, it feels almost like it has something else in it. But it's super soft and squishy. So for those of you who are trying to, use up your stash for things, and like this pattern eats up a lot of yarn. And it's cute. But I made this one because sometimes the guys get left out. People make hats and they're pretty a little feminine, or pink, or colors like that. But guys like to have cool hats too. I actually might keep this one. Because I really like it. I really like it. I don't keep many of my hats, but yeah. So, but the reason why it eats so much is because I'm not going to tell you the pattern because it's in a book, but it's made up of front post and back post double crochet, and so it really sucks up the yarn. And so it's a good, if you're trying to, I know like Miss Margaret, from Margaret Olander from Sheepishly Sharing, she had like a goal to use so many yards. Well, and she makes a lot of charity hats, so this would be great for her because it's easy to crochet, and it eats up a whole lot of your yarn. I was thinking about putting a pom pom on the top, but I don't think I'm going to. The only thing I modified to the pattern was I added a little bit of a border. I just did a half double crochet border twice. I did 2 rounds just to make it kind of close. And I guess I could have made it longer too and had it fold, but it's really thick, the fabric now. So I don't think it would. Well, here in Georgia, I don't think it gets that cold, but I mean, it can because it snows. Well, ices. Sometimes, I don't know. It's weird weather. But anyway, I guess, you could, but I think it looks better, just like this. I just put this here since it's a beanie to kind of, it just looks more finished to me. It didn't look finished. It's weird fixing your hair in thing because it's backwards. So anyway, that's what, um, those are my finished objects. Also, I do have some work in progress. So let's see what I got. In this one of my bags from Erin at Give Me Yarn 418 at her Southpaw Creations Etsy shop. This is a crochet. It's another thing from the One Skein Wonders, but this is going to be a little baby dress, a little summer dress. I just thought it was super cute, and I've never made a dress or anything like that before. So this is actually finished. This is well, it's finished all except the strap, which I started and I'm gonna have to redo. I was a little confused with the I'm a little confused with the directions of where she's or he where the designer wants me to actually put the strap. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. But I think, putting on here, because like it's got to be big enough in the middle for the head to fit through. So I'm thinking, so I put this one here, and I think the other end, for the width is like right there. I think that's how it's going to be. You do that on the other side, so it'll be, I don't know, I'm going to figure it out, but yeah. And for this, I just used some loops and threads. I'm sorry, I am really sleepy, so if I'm like not as perky or if I keep rubbing my eyes. This morning I got up at 3:30 to take my stepmom to the airport, and then I stayed up because I had to go, to clinic, and there was no point in me going to sleep because I probably would have forgotten to wake up or something like that. So anyway, I'm a little sleepy, but I didn't want to fall asleep too early because then I would wake up in the middle of the night because it would be just like a nap, and then I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight and all that. So I decided I would podcast, keep me awake. Anyway, this is Loops and Threads, Snuggly Wuggly. Yeah, just Snuggly Wuggly. Show you. It's a little purple color. Let's see. It says soft lilac, and it is. It's a very soft, purpley, lilac-y. Sorry, my aunt had texted me. Lilac-y color. It's very soft and squishy. It is, I believe, 100% acrylic. Yeah, 100% acrylic, and it's a light weight yarn. It says it's a number 3, but it's cute. And it took me no time at all. Like this part, I can crochet pretty fast, I guess. So once I understand the pattern, I can get through a row pretty quickly. But it's funny, I've never actually used this crochet hook before because it's so small. It's just a Boye, B-O-Y-E. It's upside down. G 4.25 millimeters. But it's super little. And actually, one thing I have been noticing, when I would crochet a lot, I used to get these cysts. They're called ganglionic cysts here in my wrist. And when I started doing more knitting, that went away. And then whenever I was, I've been crocheting a lot here lately, and I can feel that it's hurting. So knitting, crocheting definitely hurts my wrists a lot more. Knitting, I don't have that pain because I'm not because when I'm crocheting, I'm doing a lot of movement, like with my um, hand. But when I knit, I'm not. I'm more just moving my fingers. So I don't feel that. So that's one reason I'm glad I learned to knit because it really, if I crochet too much, it makes my wrist right here hurt. And another thing I cast it on is the Perk Me Up cowl. By Erin from Gimme Yarn 418. I've just really cast it on here. And I'm using this yarn here. It's red. And I showed it to you not too long ago. I bought it on the on sale. It's a Merino Superwash Universal Yarn. See, I got it for $3.99. Says usually it's $9. But it's 100% Superwash Extra Fine Merino number 3 lightweight. And this is so soft and squishy. I love it. So I did this, red is one of my favorite colors. A lot of my, decorations in my house, I don't think you can see any of it. No. Oh, yeah, you can see how that's red. So the accent color here in my apartment, and my rug is red. I don't know if you can kind of tell right down there. This is hard. Anyway, that's my rug. It's red. So red is one of my favorite colors. I also like green and blue and orange. But so yeah, I'm gonna use that one for the favorite color knit along that the Bakery Bears are doing. I think the favorite color one is a patron only one. I could be wrong. I could have them backwards. But anyway, I'm doing this one. I have 2 balls of this, so I'm excited. I'm really enjoying this pattern. I like making these little cowls. They're fun. And I'm going to probably give that one to my Aunt Carol, when it's done. Because I think I mentioned this before, but she has a beautiful red coat that her daughter gave her, my cousin Lisa. I call her my godmother, basically. She really takes care of me, and her family are wonderful. So I'm gonna make that to match it. I think she'll like it. And the other thing I worked on a little bit, which I'm really excited about, is I've been working on this cowl for a long time. I mean this shawl, but it requires me to really sit down and I have to kind of pay attention a lot because I'm knitting from a chart for one, and that's a little bit new. This is the first time I've knitted from a chart, which really isn't that hard. Actually, I like knitting from a chart. I do not like crochet charts at all because they're hard, like especially when things are like you're knitting in the same stitches. And I just don't like crochet charts. They just confuse me. But knitting charts are wonderful. I mean, I don't know, it just makes more sense. But I did make some progress. Oh, it's the water sprout shawl. And it came with my first lace shawl class at Craftsy. Anna Dalby is the teacher and the maker. Oh, and this is my bag that JC Sewing Room made for me. I just love it. So I had to change color. I'm using Karen Simply Soft for this, but I changed colors. The first part was through. Well, last time you saw it, I had made it through completely through the first set of charts. It's like chart A1 and A2. Now I've moved on to chart B, which is the last two charts. And I'm on row 80 now, and I have 100 to go. So, well, of the charting, and then I don't know if there's anything after that. But I am very proud of how this is coming out. I can't wait to see it done. But let me know. Do y'all think these two? I don't know if you can really get a good look at the colors, but I hope the colors kind of don't look bad together. But I didn't have another Karen Simply Soft in this color, and so whatever. I'm gonna finish it in it, and I don't know if I'll give it to someone or what I'll do with it, because I don't know. But what do y'all think? Do the colors look good or not? I'm just so excited. Look at this lace. I'm doing so good. It's fun. It's neat, like, once you get far enough into the project and you can, like, see, like, the patterns that it's really making. So, anyway, I'm just excited about that one. I really want to work on it some more this week. And I need to finish it because I will be starting another shawl for Bakery Bear's crochet along. It's the Brit along. So you have to use either yarn from someone or a UK yarn or a pattern by someone from the UK. So I'm gonna do the Messalina shawl by Kay Jones. Why not? It's actually very lovely, and it looks like it's gonna have some, stuff to it, but also it looks like it's probably gonna be something that, it could be pretty quick, because it's got a pattern, but it's not super involved like that lace. But I got two more patterns, and I need your help here, because I can't decide. Well, yeah, I've decided. Anyway, so I don't need your help. I've already decided. But anyway, this is a shawl I bought. Mainsail shawl by Wild Prairie Knits. I just thought it was very pretty. Looks, simple enough. Just it has some stripes in it. So I thought that was pretty. But this is the one I had bought some beautiful yarn, black, and then 2 skeins of black and 1 of red. And so I was trying to find a pattern to that would have like a cool design with that. And I looked at it a lot, and I ended up deciding to do this Orion's belt. I think here's another picture. I'm trying not to show the pattern for this. But it just looked like something that, would look good with the black. So if you can see, sorry, I can't see what you can see. So if you can see her gray part, I'm going to do black, and then the red, I'm going to do red. But I think it'll look really good together. But it's cool because it has this. It also has this little. You can see that little design pattern here in that main thing. I just thought it looked really cool, and I also enjoyed that she had it shown like this as kind of like wrapped around scarf kind of thing. Because if I'm gonna wear it, it's mostly gonna be worn like that. I probably won't wear, a shawl like over the shoulders, hanging kind of thing. That's just probably not how I would wear it. So, yeah. I have some new yummies. Which I already showed you a couple of them, the patterns of a couple of them. But I subscribe to this thing called the Yarn Box. Ah! Lampshade down. Sorry. There we go. So I subscribe to this thing called a Yarn Box, which is a monthly subscription. I think I have bi-monthly too, and they have different kinds of things you can get if you're not familiar with it. It's yarnbox.com, and you can pick whether you want just like general kind of yarn. I mean, it's not like they're not going to send you like Red Heart yarn or Line Brand or something like that. Or they have sock yarn. They have another one that's like more specialty yarn. It costs a little bit more. Uh, so yeah, go check it out. And they have different prices depending every month. But they send you cool little package. So this is the box. And I just love this little thing here. It says, caution, yarn inside may cause extreme happiness. So it's funny. And I think your first month is free. So they sent some. So you can actually also pick which one of the things you can do when you order it. You can pick like if you don't want certain colors. I just told them a free for all. Like, I'm okay with any colors, just because that's how I am. I don't really. I mean, I'll knit somebody something with it. So I was super surprised. So it comes like in that box, and then they have it, wrapped up a little, and you get these two little cards. So this you have your yarn box passport, and it just tells you a little bit about the yarn, and it says Miss Crosby is the person, and she has a thing of yarn called carpet bag yarn, and it's 80% merino, 20% silk, DK weight. And then they send you a couple of patterns you can download. They're really cute. And they sent with this little package of soap. This is scentless. It smells. I know it's scentless, but it smells really good, and it actually made the yarn smell really good. It doesn't smell like anything. It just smells clean. So I know the lighting is not going to show this colors because they're very muted. I'm going to take the lampshade off. Hope that it will, and it didn't. This is Miss Crosby. That's too. It's not. Sorry, that's not going to work. Anyway, Miss Crosby. Carpet bag, 80% superwash merino wool, 20% silk, about 240 yards of it, and the color is African gray, and it's very appropriate for the colors. African gray, if you don't know, is a type of bird, and they're beautiful, very expensive birds, but they're beautiful birds. And I wish this would show, but there's the color. It looks pretty. It's like a gray, it's like a gray cream, light, very light gray, beigey, creamy color. But in here, you have little, very muted. See that darker right there? That's like a dark. It's like a dark purple, but it's like very light. It's very muted, and it also has some more like you can kind of see how there's some like it's like a brighter color purple. When I say brighter, I just mean shade, not or tone, because they're all very muted. But I wish you could see, but this is beautiful, beautiful. It is so soft. It smells so just clean, fresh. It smells so fresh, clean. I love this. And this is what I'm going to make my messelings. They send you two. This is what I'm going to make my messelina shawl out of because I think it'll be pretty. Oh, so you can see a little bit better how it has that in there. And all through it, it has like little bits of different shades of this little like lighter color, these little purple shades. Anyway, super excited that I got that. And I actually picked the Messelina shawl to knit, partially because it called for a DK weight yarn. And I had two of those and they're DK weight, which is 8 ply. And because I was going to knit Miss K's new shawl pattern, something about a sock, I can't remember, but you need sock yarn. And she made it so for those self-striping sock yarn things. And I don't have any sock yarn. I don't make socks. I've been thinking about it because they're probably good little go socks. I've made them before. I've actually taken or did a little. I bought the pattern, did the tutorials from Very Pink Knits for her. So I don't know, maybe I'll get more into socks. But I love looking at the socks y'all make. So, but I don't. Maybe if I had sock yarn, actual sock yarn, and that kind of stuff, maybe I would enjoy knitting the socks. Because the socks I knitted, they were more like slipper socks, like house socks, because they were thick with. I used the worsted weight, yarn, and just to get used to, how the construction is and all that. So I am going to do a drawing, and I'm going to wait one more week to do it because of the confusion that we had with the Ravelry group, Codi Knits, having two, and it kind of got confusing. So, and also, I just want to give everybody time to get in there. Because last time I checked, there's only 28, which is good for you guys because, the less people you have in there to draw against, the better odds that you're going to win. So, there'll be 3 of you again. I was gonna do, 2 people can get a pattern of their choice. Just tell me what pattern you want, and I'll gift it to you on Ravelry. So I'll do that for 2 people. And don't go out and get like the most expensive because I am in college, or grad school. I don't have like all the money in the world. But anyway, just, get whatever you like, but don't, I'm not going to buy you a $50 pattern or something. I don't even know if they make $50 patterns, but just saying. And then one person is going to get a skein of yarn, of the lovely yarn I picked out. There was a pink one and like an ivy colored one. So depending on which one you want, you have your choice of those 2. I'm super excited. I have 249 subscribers. My goal for this giveaway was just having 100, and then the Bakery Bears mentioned me on their podcast, and you guys have come over and been so supportive. I can't get over how wonderful you all are. Yeah, I did it. I said you all. I can't get over how wonderful y'all are. Very generous, very encouraging, very supportive, and I just thank you all so much for that. It means so much to me. It makes me so happy to see the messages on Instagram and Ravelry and YouTube. Speaking of messages, if I don't reply to your message, like on YouTube or Ravelry or something like that, I will usually reply more to the Ravelry if you reply to my personal Ravelry, Codi Knits, my personal page. But I try to answer, specifics and stuff like that. But I'm sorry if I don't get to everybody. I do read them. I just don't always have time to, respond. And I do appreciate your comments and everything. Just with everything going on, I just don't always have time to, respond to everything. And like on Ravelry, they don't really have a like button. So if you write a comment on YouTube, I can at least, like it or thumbs up, to let you know that I've read it, thank you, that kind of thing. But they don't have that on Ravelry. So if I don't respond, it's not because I don't like you or don't like the message or something. I really, really appreciate it. I just don't have time to answer all of them. I'm trying to, but especially now, you guys have just been so supportive and saying such the nicest things, and so it's not that I don't want to, it's just that I can't get to everything sometimes. But if there's something that you really like, if you want a response, like if you like have a specific question or something like that, message me on my personal Codi Knits Ravelry page, because that's kind of like an email kind of thing, and I usually respond to those. It's easier for me to respond to those that way. But if you put a comment or something on YouTube or the Ravelry thread or something like that, I might not get around to responding to it. I do check them and read them, but sometimes it's like the next week or something, and just because of how busy I am. But anyway, thank you again so much for being so supportive. Wish I could give you all big hugs. That was me giving you guys hugs. I like to give hugs. That's the thing we do, or I do. Some people don't like hugs, and I don't like hugs from, I don't know. I like hugs and from people, But yeah, some people don't because they, especially if you don't know them, like people don't like to be touched. But I'm kind of if I'm greeting you, I'm probably going to give you a hug if I know you. If I just met you, I'll shake your hand or something. But that's just who I am. I'll give you hugs, let you know that I care for you. Um, Plus, it's good for my own soul. Getting a hug makes you feel better, feel good. Um, I have some bad news. My bestie, she's moving. She's moving to North Carolina. I'm really happy for her. She's moving forward in her life and her career, and it's awesome. She's also an oncology nurse. She's wonderful at it. She's very knowledgeable. She cares so much. Um, and she really takes a lot of pride in her career and as a oncology nurse, specifically leukemia, lymphoma. That's why she went to school. That's what she's always wanted to do. But she's such a sweet person. I love her to death. I'm gonna miss her. I'm gonna be. I don't know who I'm gonna hang out with and stuff now. I mean, have friends. But she lived like right down the road. I could say, "Hey, let's go get sushi," and she'd be like, "Okay." And we had so much in common, or we have so much in common. Like we both love wine. We both love coffee. We both are nurses, and we work on the same floor, or we did. We both love the beach and the water. And she's wonderful. And her mom is so awesome. I love her mom. I enjoy like even spending time with her family because every time I go to their house, if her mom's home, I'll sit down and her mom will sit a glass of wine in front of me. And I love it. And then there's always chocolate. Wine and chocolate, you can't ever go wrong with me. Anyway, this is getting pretty long and I got to go to bed soon. I'm tired. And I have another day at clinical tomorrow, so I need to get to bed. So I need to get this um, exported and all that stuff. So remember to do everything one stitch at a time. Um, that's how we should knit. That's how you get through those difficult patterns. You don't know. That's how I do it anyway. I'm like, okay, I get through this one, then get through the next one. That's how you get through those difficult patterns. Don't let knitting become work. I know people sell it and stuff, but it's something we love to do, and if we let it become too much of work, we end up not wanting to do it. It's our hobby. It's something we love, so let it be that. So don't get over. Don't get knit burn. Is that a word? I just made that up. Knit burn. And also, that's how we should live our lives, one day at a time, and appreciate the moment and enjoy the moment. And yeah, so you guys have a wonderful week or two, depends on how long takes me to get back, but at least every 2 weeks, like I said. But yeah, um, I look forward to seeing your podcast and what you got going on. And yeah. Anyway, good night, you guys. Bye.